everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, April 14th, 2019. Damn, Phyllis! Damn! There's other jobs. There are other companies out there. You didn't need to go nuclear, blackmailing Jack, blackmailing Kyle, invading Summer's privacy, also that you could get a seat on the board at Fenmore's. I think that Lauren would have given you a job, probably a high-powered job, regardless. Again, I said it last week and I still feel that it's true. It almost seems like the writers were trying to push Gina out the door, like they were trying to decimate Phyllis's character. She has practically no allies left. Were they trying to get rid of Phyllis and just decided that maybe the next best thing would be to recast her, or am I being paranoid? I don't know. Last week I asked you guys if you wanted to see the Gina Tognoni version of Phyllis or the Michelle Stafford version of Phyllis, and 82% of you were Team Gina. I wonder how many of you who voted for Gina were newer viewers who maybe don't remember the Michelle Stafford version, or you know, versus how many just genuinely liked Gina's portrayal more. I'm one of those. I genuinely like Gina's portrayal more. That shot of her smashing apart that mirror on Friday in her hotel room suite and then picking up the broken piece of glass to look at her reflection in it, the reflection of her shattered life, that was powerful. It was a nice piece of acting too. Like, if those are Gina's final scenes, and I don't know that they are by any means, but if they were, I would say that would be one hell of a performance to go out on. I don't know if that's true though, but it's odd. Phyllis's trail of terror began at the beginning of the week with so much odd behavior. Phyllis meets with Lola, under the guise of trying to get her to do a catering gig for her, an I'm All Right party catering gig. And Phyllis, during the conversation, starts to pump Lola up about how Kyle really clearly isn't fully engaged in the relationship with Summer. It's not everything that it seems. Kyle's really still in love with you, Lola. And then Phyllis essentially gives Lola her blessing to just go ahead and take her son-in-law off of her hands, and then tries to lure Summer out of town under the guise of a spa trip for two. At least this time it wasn't a yacht trip around the world. She could have just lured Summer to the yacht and sent her sailing across the world for a couple of weeks. And then Phyllis hires a private eye, a private detective, to take photos of Kyle and Lola while Summer's out of town. You gotta hand it to Phyllis though, at least a little bit. You gotta give her this. She knew exactly what was going to happen between Kyle and Lola. She knew exactly what they were gonna do, or what they were gonna almost do. Sure enough, the night that Summer leaves town, Kyle and Lola are out on a date. It was a date. I'm sorry, it was not a just friends type situation. They met at the athletic club to have dinner for the express purpose of talking about their relationship. They were just picking up right where they left off before she went into the hospital. They spent the entire dinner rehashing the past, everything that led them up into this point, and dreaming about all of the what ifs. What could have happened for them? What relationship might they have had if she hadn't gone into the hospital? And Lola was presenting it to Kyle by saying, we never really had a chance to see where our relationship would go. You had so many chances, like so many chances. And you broke up with him every time. You broke up with him more times than I can even count. You broke up with him over a purse. There were so many breakups. Not all of them were even about Summer. And now you're trying to rewrite the script to say that you're a couple who never got a chance? No, not true. I was there, okay? I lived through all the breakups. You had the chance. I also don't understand why Lola's rewriting herself and her morals internally. Why is Lola suddenly so willing to just trade everything that she stands for in exchange for Kyle? Like, why spend your entire life, and granted she's young, but it's her entire life and her entire being, she's spent developing a moral set, a moral code that she wants to live by, and now she's just throwing it out the window right as her dreams are coming true. For her career, at least. He's just not worth it. I just think Kyle is not worth it at all. And it's making Lola look bad. Lola was the one who initiated getting the hotel room. She tells Kyle she wants to go upstairs to have sex. She wants to give herself sexually for the first time to a man who's married. And also, she's wanting to have this sex with a married man right after she's found out that her brother's wife was cheating on him. And this is something that tore apart the family not once but twice. That part's puzzling to me. And also puzzling to me is the fact that, all things considered, Summer gave Lola her life back, and now Lola's trying to have sex with Summer's husband the second that she leaves town? Don't get me wrong though, I am not in any way trying to defend Summer's honor here. Summer married a man knowing that he was in love with someone else. Summer is not a victim here. I think what it boils down for me is it's not even really about Summer or Lola or which girl I like better or which couple I like better. At this point, I feel like Kyle is not worth the trouble for either Summer or Lola. Kyle is a waffler. Does anybody watch The Bold and the Beautiful, or have you ever watched it in the past? Because Kyle is Liam right now, waffling back and forth between Hope and Steffi. I call it the female in the room effect. Kyle right now is wholly and completely swayed by whatever female is in the room right now telling him what to do, think, and feel. When Lola suggests that they go upstairs and get a room, Kyle goes right along with it because she's the female in the room. They get upstairs to the room, and he's standing there with Lola, taking off his wedding ring, taking off the wedding band, and telling Lola that this ring doesn't stand for what it's supposed to stand for. Basically, he's just justifying what he's about to do. And I don't know, I guess, am I prude? Am I old-fashioned? I don't know. But hey, Kyle, how about you try doing the right thing and you go and tell Summer first that that ring doesn't stand for what it's supposed to stand for. And then you can come back to the athletic club and you can rock Lola's virginity right out of her. But how about first do the right thing? Nope. Nope. Can't be bothered. Can't take the time for that. Kyle and Lola are going through with it. I mean, they're undressing each other. They're getting into bed, and it is very tender, and it's clear that these are two people who want to be together, who long to be together. But right as they're really getting down to business, really getting ready to seal the deal, Kyle's phone starts to buzz, and he glances over at it, and he sees Summer's face popping up on the screen. Uh-oh, now there's two females in the room. What's he gonna do? He sees that Summer's calling him, and he starts to second guess himself. Suddenly he can't go through with the sex with Lola. Waffle! Waffle. Summer she's back from the spa trip. In fact, she didn't even go on the spa trip. She didn't even hardly get on the outskirts of town before she knew that she had to come back. She's looking everywhere for Kyle. She even goes to Lola's place looking for Kyle because she knows that's who Kyle is with. Kyle and Lola then decide that they just need to call the whole thing off, but for tonight only. Everything else still stands. The conversation that they've had still stands. They love each other. They want to be together. They do want to go through with consummating the relationship. But Summer has to be dealt with. It has to be done the right way. So the understanding between Kyle and Lola is that Kyle is going to now go home and he's going to tell Summer everything. He's going to tell Summer that he wants to be with Lola. He's going to break things off. And then Kyle and Lola are going to be free to be together the right way. You know, the right way. Like, I mean, after all of the time and effort and fuss about Lola's virginity, she might want to have her first time having sex being done the right way. Lola even goes home and she is talking to Ray, and she is actually expressing some remorse about what she's doing and what almost happened with Kyle. Like, she knows that it's not right, but she also feels resolved, based on the conversation she's had with Kyle, that at least she knows they are in love. At least she knows that they are now committed to being together. But the waffler goes home to tell Summer the truth. But Summer somehow works her voodoo magic on him, and she somehow has him shirtless and just about ready to have sex before he can have a chance to tell her that he was just shirtless and ready to have sex with Lola about an hour ago. Oops. Whoopsie. Kyle, how did that happen? How did you go from like needing to do the right thing to, oh God, my shirt fell off? Like, did you get confused on the way to the market? We're supposed to go to the market to sell the cow. Came home with a fistful of magic beans instead. Is that what happened, Kyle? It's like he has the mentality of a toddler or something. He has no attention span, no ability to just follow through with what he just committed to with Lola or what he had already committed to with Summer. There's no commitment here whatsoever. He was gonna go through with sleeping with Summer. Gonna. And then Jack interrupted them, calls Kyle, and tells Kyle all about how Phyllis just had him followed and photographed, and now Phyllis is blackmailing Jack and Jabot over it. Phyllis has come to the house to tell Jack that he either needs to sell Fenmore's back to Lauren, plus give Phyllis a little bit of a cash bonus, or Phyllis is going to send these photos out to the press. I mean, you wouldn't want the press to find out about this right as you're getting ready to launch your whole new lifestyle brand, would you, Jack? It's shocking to me that it would even occur to Phyllis to do this, and that it doesn't seem to be dawning on her that she's also threatening to allow the press to find out from Summer's mom that Summer's husband is dogging her. Phyllis gives Jack 24 hours, though, to make his decision. This is the second 24-hour timeline that Jack has been given in the past 2 weeks. First it was Ashley giving him 24, now it's Phyllis giving him 24. And Jack realizes that he's gonna need to sit down and have a talk with his son. And Kyle basically confesses to Jack that he really loves Lola, but he also cares very much for Summer and doesn't want to hurt her. Okay, I get it. Kyle cares about both women, but what's bothering me is that he also very clearly still wants to sleep with both women. And that can't be. That's what cannot be in my mind anyway. And I was so annoyed with Jack for telling Kyle that, oh yeah, he definitely does need to make a decision. But Jack can go ahead and buy Kyle some time to make that decision by giving in to Phyllis's demands. No! Do not perpetuate this indecision for one more moment, Jack or Kyle. It is just hurting everyone. That's all you're doing is hurting everyone and delaying the inevitable hurt. And then it also bothers me that Phyllis was supposed to be made to look like the complete and total bad guy here, because Kyle then tells Jack that Phyllis can just go to hell. I'm not going to give in to her blackmail. I'm just going to go upstairs and tell Summer like he was supposed to do before he ended up instead almost having sex with her. So the original plan was to tell Summer. But he's going to get back to that now, and you can just tell Phyllis to go to hell. How about you go to hell, Kyle? I was more mad at him for that than Phyllis. So Kyle goes upstairs, this time for sure to tell Summer the truth about Lola. And Summer just took the air out of the balloon. She guessed it. She just said, yeah, so you slept with Lola, didn't you? She knows it. She knows this man. And he admits that he almost slept with Lola. He was going to, but he couldn't go through with it. So once again, Summer drizzles some of her voodoo syrup all around this waffler, and she somehow manages to convince him that it's actually good for their marriage that he almost slept with Lola, because actually what this means is that he's evolved. He's a much better person than he used to be. I mean, they both are. They're so much better than they used to be. They're good people now. And what this really, really means for their relationship is that he does care about Summer. That's why he couldn't sleep with Lola, because he cares so much about Summer. And that should translate into him wanting to choose Summer. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of this. I don't doubt for a second that Kyle cares about both women. But if Kyle respected both women, then he would pick one or pick none. He would make a decision and stick with it instead of being in a hotel room with Lola at around 7 p.m. and then making it home in time to hold Summer while she falls asleep by 10. Speak louder into the hidden microphone, Jackie. I can't hear you. Well, that gift basket from Ashley was no ordinary gift basket. It contained a listening device which Jack very obviously sat right square in the middle of the Abbott living room coffee table in front of everyone while they had the latest Jabot brainstorming session. How lucky for Ashley that they decided to have that meeting at home and that Jack didn't have to lug the gift basket to Jabot with him in order to get all of this caught on the hidden microphone. So Jack is pitching his brilliant idea for saving Jabot. He is going to make it not just a cosmetics company. It is going to be a whole lifestyle brand, Jabot Collective. It'll be makeup and fashion and accessories. It's your lifestyle. When you think about being glamorous, you're going to think of Jabot. And now, not even an hour after Jack has had this brilliant idea, suspiciously, there's an article that's been published online. It's an interview with Ashley talking about how she has the exact same plan for My Beauty, right down to using the exact same language. It's going to be called My Beauty Collective, which I have to admit is way better than Jabot Collective. Ashley has one-upped Jack again. Merry Christmas, Jackie. I did literally laugh out loud though when Jack, after he realized that he was being set up, he set up the listening device purposefully so that Ashley could overhear him having a conversation with Tracy where he's going on and on about how he's just gonna concede to Ashley. She's just too brilliant. And then Ashley calls him on the phone and says, "Oh, so you found the listening device?" You found that, did ya? And he said, "Yeah, Okay, but I'm sorry. What Jack does next is absolutely baffling to me. While he's got Ashley on the phone, Jack turns around and decides to offer Ashley $4 million of his personal money to drop her My Beauty Collective idea and just stay focused on her cosmetics brand. So while Jabot is, as Jack described, on financial life support, Jack just dumped $4 million into Ashley's pocket. For what? For the right to go ahead with the idea that Ashley just stole from him? Is it me? Or is Jack in exactly the same place he was last week, only $4 million poorer? That's all he did, was buy the right to go forward with the idea that he just had. What an idiot. What an absolute idiot. I mean, do you have any idea how much sunscreen you could have produced for $4 million? Yeah, it's just one big happy family over there at Jabot Cosmetics. With the newest member, by the way, Summer decided to take Jack's job offer, and she's quitting Newman, and she's gone to work for Jabot. Wonder what Victor will have to say about that, considering Summer just agreed to work helping Victoria. I don't think anybody works at Newman Enterprises anymore right now. I mean, Victoria's not really doing a whole lot of working right now, and Summer just bailed, and Victor doesn't care. Nobody really cares. But I wonder who Summer is going to be more upset with. Will she be more upset with Jack when she finds out that Jack basically thought that she was the mole? He thought, before he figured out that there was a listening device in the gift basket, he thought that Summer was the one who was filtering off information to Ashley. He thought Summer was untrustworthy. That's gotta come back up. That's not just gonna go away. Or do you think that Summer will be more upset with Phyllis, though, when she finds out that her mother was willing to expose the very private details of her marriage to the press just so that Phyllis could get a piece of Fenmore's? I don't get this part. Lauren very most certainly would have just offered Phyllis a very high-powered position at her company, whether she owned the majority stock or not. Phyllis was working for Lauren and Fenmore's before she ever took the Jabot CEO position. And now that Phyllis has had this failed blackmail attempt with Jack, I mean, she might not even have an opportunity to work at Fenmore's anymore. It just doesn't feel like an even trade. I don't know why Phyllis put so much effort into this plan. I mean, she really was willing to hang everything on the line just for a little piece of Fenmore's. And Jack tells her, no, forget it. Your little blackmail scheme is not gonna work. You've lost. You can do whatever you want with those photos of Kyle and Lola. It's not what you think. And Kyle's gonna go tell Summer anyway. You have no power, you have no leverage. And then Jack goes back downstairs to Lauren to solidify his partnership with her and with Fenmore's, promises her the moon and the stars with this Jabot Collective idea that he paid $4 million for. And then Lauren jumped on board right away, saying, you mean you're actually gonna work with me? Well, why didn't you say that in the first place? I wouldn't have bothered yammering on about this whole getting my family company thing back. She literally said that. No need to keep fighting to get my family company back. Why would I want to do that if I can just work with you? I mean, Phyllis was fighting harder to get Lauren's family company back more than Lauren was. Phyllis was willing to throw her own daughter to the wolves to get Fenmore's back for Lauren. And what did Lauren do? She made a few phone calls? Oh well. Whatever frees Lauren up to have more date nights with Michael. That was one of the greatest things of those scenes and of the week. Michael pays the staff at the athletic club to have some private time and private dancing at the restaurant with Lauren, and that was one of the only things this week that made me absolutely genuinely happy. You know what I've really missed over these last couple months of Y&R? Poker games inside of hotel rooms. Seriously? Of all the things from the previous regime that needed to go away and stay away, it was poker games inside of hotel rooms. I did not need to see Sinead again. I do not believe that Victoria, a rookie, was somehow able to pull a royal flush on her first try in a high-stakes poker game with high-stakes professional players, just so that she could have a chance to say to Sinead, well, what else would you expect from a princess but a royal flush? No thank you. I'll pass. I'll pass on that whole scene. What was that and why? I thought this was supposed to be new Y&R, cleaning up and sweeping away some of the past crap that we had to deal with. Why am I seeing this again? And on that note, talk about triggers. If Billy knew what was good for him and his addiction, not only would he not have been in that room, in that situation, but he wouldn't have been in Las Vegas. I mean, he went to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting when he got back to Genoa City, but I am just worn out from Billy's gambling storyline. We spent so much time on it last year. I don't want to go backward. I want to go forward. And I feel like that's all this is. That's all Billy and Victoria are right now. Billy's trying to go backwards. He wants to jump backwards right back into that comfortable relationship with Victoria because that's what he feels safe with. That's what he knows keeps him stable. I mean, he was feeling a little out of control on Thursday, so much so that he had to go to the GA meeting. And then by Monday, he has somehow decided to go to a jeweler and buy an engagement ring for Victoria? Is that really the best place to be in when you're asking someone to marry you? I'm not happy. But maybe you are. This week's poll question, I would like to ask you Y&R chatters if you would like to see Billy and Victoria get back together. Are you feeling the Victoria and Billy reunion? Like, is this pleasing you? YRChat.com is the website where you can tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right. I don't care whichever way you want to go. For me, I feel disappointed that Billy and Victoria are back together at all. I was excited, actually excited, for something new to happen to Victoria. Victoria seemed more alive with Brandon for 2 nights than she has seemed with Billy for 2 years. But I'm guessing that Brandon is gonna go bye-bye now. It's no more Brando. The last time we saw him, it was pretty good though. I got a kick out of Billy pretending to be Victoria's bodyguard and having to watch Brandon hit on Victoria before and after that poker game. I don't dislike Billy and Victoria as a couple in theory, but I also don't feel like I have a really good reason to want them back together right now. It feels to me like Billy just harassed her back into the relationship, kind of like what Summer had done to him, never giving up, never accepting no for an answer. It's just not romantic. It's not exciting to me. I can't wait to see those poll results. Maybe I'm wrong. I just want something else for Victoria. I'm wondering also, what is the status with JT? Is he getting ready to go on trial? Are we ever going to see him again, or is he just done? And frankly, is it bad that I would honestly rather see Victoria reconnect with JT and his tumorless brain than say yes to Billy's proposal just because he's single and she's single and they've been together before and it worked before? Victor Newman has been seen hanging out at high-stakes poker games in Las Vegas talking to some guy who is known only as Spider. Spider is his name, and he apparently walks with a cane. What is he, a jazzy spider? Does he wear a top hat too? Does he do a little dance? Spider? Okay. Well, Brando did us one last favor and he sent us a picture of Victor and this guy that he's been meeting with, but I don't know, the guy is older. He's not quite as old as Victor, but he's older. He has no hair, and more importantly, he has no cane. So that he can't be the Spider. This can't be the Spider. We all know spiders have canes. So I'm confused. When Victoria gets back to Genoa City, she brings Nicholas in on the whole spider mystery, and they start speculating about what Victor's up to, and they also speculate that whatever it is, it was going on while Nikki was hospitalized and maybe during her trial too. Like, this is an explanation. Whatever's going on with Spider is also giving us some back explanation about where Victor's been and why he hasn't been present at any of these other major events that have been going on around Nikki's life. And they also kicked around the idea of telling Nikki that Victor was in Vegas, and they decided not to last week. But I can just imagine that Nikki is not going to be happy when she finds out about whatever Victor's new secret is. I just wish, though, that we ended up finding out that Nikki's in on it. I know we won't, but I'm all for Team Nikki and Victor being in on each other's little scams. And I also have to say, I have to acknowledge how very good Nikki looked this week. I mean, she was looking slim and sharp and healthy and happy like a jazzy spider. I was loving her outfit and her hair and her makeup, and it's just looking real good. Oh, okay, fine, I'll bite. Who the hell is Spider? Do we want to wager some guesses? Should we even try to speculate about who Spider is? Because there's every possibility that in 2 weeks from now, we're going to be looking back and going, yeah, never would have guessed that. I mean, Spider could be, it could be a text message from XZ. It could be a mystery company named PC, you know, like Spider is the new PC. Are we ever gonna, you know, we'll never have been able to figure it out. There's no way to just connect the dots on that one, except I mean, you know, I can't help myself. I'm gonna have to just dance out on a web here and guess that Spider is Adam. I loved that Nikki encouraged Nick to try one of those dating apps. But Nick has absolutely no problem finding a date right now. He picked up another woman at the bar again, brings her home to his house. Ugh, it's getting a little icky. And that underground sign, like that underground sign and the underground in general is very quickly becoming one of Nick's pickup lines. Like, hey baby, did you know I used to own a bar? We served only the finest whiskey from the coast of Scotland until the bar was burned to the ground by some old lady with Alzheimer's. Ugh. Poor shirtless Nick. I just feel so bad for shirtless Nick. He has nothing to do but watch movies shirtless and play darts shirtless and do push-ups shirtless. Make some late night phone calls to Hong Kong with a shirt on, though. He managed to put on a shirt for the phone calls to Hong Kong. I don't know. What is up with Nick? What's up with Dark Horse? I wish that Nikki would have taken Nick's job offer to go work there, because something's gotta happen with Dark Horse, or maybe Ashley needs to pop out of nowhere and do a hostile takeover of it or something. I am feeling a little grumpy toward Y&R right now. I probably should have mentioned that up front, but instead I tried to hide it. I tried to pretend that it wasn't happening and that I was happy, but I'm actually not happy, because some of these casting changes and character direction changes are just starting to tick me off. Like, I really felt angry this week when I found out that Nomi Gomez, who plays Mia, is now leaving the show. I just don't understand it. I just wish that these changes didn't have to be so shocking and so jarring. Like, Y&R is supposed to be comfortable and comforting for me, and right now I just feel like my insides are all twisted up. I was a really big fan of Mia, and I know not everyone was, but to me, she's just, I mean, prior to everything with the fake pregnancy, which is clearly something they were doing to exit her, I felt like Mia was beautiful and fresh and different, and I love that Y&R has a makeup artist in a town with a major cosmetics company. It just felt like Mia was one of the things that Y&R did right, creating this character in the past year, and now she's just gonna be gone, and I'm really disappointed about that. She's just so good. The look on Mia's face when she realized that her fake pregnancy had become real, it was almost like she willed it into being. She has the power. But she does not have the power to will the father into being, right? I mean, it's probably Arturo, and that does not fit with her plan. She wants Ray back. She was planning on going full speed ahead with the fake pregnancy. She had paid one of her clients for that sonogram photo that we saw last week. And then she had a big old fight with Sharon over it. Sharon forced Mia to go to the hospital to get checked out, called Ray, forced him to be there. The doctor is going to give Mia the sonogram. She's thinking there's nothing in there. She's probably gonna have to pretend to have lost the baby. And there it was, right in front of Ray, a heartbeat and a baby. Apparently a 12-week-old baby. As soon as the doctor and Mia were alone together, Mia asked him how far along she is, and it was about 12 weeks, which I'm guessing does not add up to the calculation that she was hoping for. Oh, so yes, I think Mia's going to continue to try to use the pregnancy to get Ray back. I was really surprised by Sharon's reaction. I really honestly thought that Sharon was going to give up, but she was fighting for Ray this week. I thought that she would just give up immediately, and if it weren't for the news that Mia is going to be exiting the canvas, I honestly would still give Sharon a week or two of watching Ray and Mia bond over the baby, and then Mia would probably fudge the paternity test results, and Sharon would be pushing Ray to go back to his wife. But instead, it looks like Mia's going to exit. If I had to guess, I would say that she's probably going to miscarry the baby and get arrested for her assault crime. I just am also thinking that she's gonna drag Ray down with her. I mean, why wouldn't she? If she can't have him, she seems like the kind of woman that would want to destroy him, and it seems like the writers are just destroying the Rosales family. Paul pays a visit to Ray this week and offers him a chance to get his old job back if he would just solve one more teeny tiny little cold case for the GCBD. It's Lola's assault case. The assault case that Mia is responsible for, and that Ray totally helped her cover up. He's still helping her cover it up. Ray tells Paul a cover story. It's classic, you know, confess to something small so that the person won't realize the bigger lie that's in front of them. Ray tells Paul that Mia and Arturo are each other's alibis. Neither of them could be a suspect in what happened to Lola because they were busy having an affair that night. But I tell you, Paul's now going to go to Arturo to try to confirm this information. And what incentive does Arturo have to lie? Mia cannot convince both Ray and Arturo that they're the father, and therefore they should protect her. So I don't know. The secret is going to come out. I heard that Arturo's going to be back in town next week, and again, I just don't think he's going to keep this secret. I think he's probably going to blow it up. He was angry when he left. He's got nothing else to lose. Paul's looking for Arturo, and in the previews for next week, it kind of seems like Paul might even have an inkling that Ray knows more about Lola's assault than he's letting on. Maybe Paul gave Ray Lola's file as a setup, and maybe Arturo's going to be the one to flip the trap. Oh, I just hate to say it, but I think it's it's possible that not only is Y&R going to get rid of Mia and Arturo, but I think that Ray is on the chopping block too. I think Arturo might just leave town. I think Mia's going to lose the baby, and I think Ray's going to go to prison. Tessa and her magic are back. I mean, I agree. I think the magic is back. Tessa wrote a beautiful new song this week, and Mariah asks Devon to give Tessa's music career another chance. Devon agrees, although he does pass off the task of actually listening to Tessa and dealing with Tessa to Anna. So Anna and Mariah arrange a private little serenade session at the coffee house where Tessa performs her new song for Anna, and I agree, there was some magic there. It was very, very beautiful. So now what? What now? Tessa singing on the show occasionally is not a story. Tessa and Mariah need an actual story. They need something that's going to connect the viewers to them, and it needs to be anything other than more lies between them. Tessa and Mariah need something that they can do or something that they can overcome together. Oh, but Tessa did have that amazing little expression last week. Amazeful. Mariah had just bought her guitar back for Tessa, and Tessa says, "Oh, it's amazeful." I thought that was a very cute line, and it was our Who Said It quote from last week. Henry, Brittany, T. Nicole, Laura, TB84, Nancy, Sue, Liz, Cherie, Ambreen, and Diana are this week's winners. They all guessed it right. How about this weird line? I don't know if you're gonna get this. I think a lot of people have been getting them right lately, but I don't know if you're gonna get this. Who said it? My cells are turning over. My cells are turning over. This is a weird thing to say. And if you think you know who said it, YRChat.com is the website. If you get it right, there's a little box you can go to enter your guess. If you go to YRChat.com, you'll see where the little box is where you can do your entry. And if you get it right, you'll find out on next week's Y&R Chat, and I will give you your shout out too. Okay, well, since I'm a big old grumpy bear this week, let's read some of our Y&R Chatter comments to cheer us up. Leslie says, I just had a wild thought. What if Kevin comes back and he develops chemistry with Tessa? And we have a love triangle with him coming in between Mariah and Tessa. I think it could be very dramatic with Tessa and Kevin both denying their feelings and avoiding them so as not to hurt Mariah. Mariah and Kevin's failed attempt at romance just adds another layer to it. Ooh, and what if they had sex and that results in a pregnancy? It's not like she could pass it off as Mariah's. Oh, that would be a story I could get behind, surprising myself at any interest in Tessa. You know what? I kind of wish they would just bring Kevin back and let him be gay. I know that's probably not a very popular opinion, but Greg Ricart is just coming back from his role on Days of Our Lives where he was where his character was openly gay, and I just think that that would be okay with me for Y&R, because I don't know, I have a hard time sometimes buying Kevin as a romantic lead with the ladies. I mean, he's had a couple of, I would say maybe Chloe was my favorite relationship of his, but I don't know, I almost wonder if we're too far down the rabbit hole at this point. I think it might be interesting to let him come out as gay and let him be friends with Mariah. But I don't know, I'm open to whatever. Usually, as long as it's moving forward and not going back. Speaking of going backwards, last week I was commenting on how cute Mariah and Tessa's terrace was when she was out on the fire escape playing her guitar, and I mentioned that it kind of reminded me of my 20s, standing out looking out upon my night skyline view of Chicago. And Ellen says, hey Allie, tell us more about your 20s in Chicago. Did you also play your guitar while gazing at the skyline? I may very well have. This guitar, you mean? I thought, you know what? Maybe I am connected to Tessa in some way. This is my Fender guitar. I have more than one guitar, but this is my favorite. It's like kind of a beautiful, like burnt orange color. I love it, love it, love it. I haven't played it in a really long time though. This is definitely a relic. This thing belongs in the time capsule of my youth. I definitely, I carried this thing down some Chicago streets. So yes, that did kind of remind me of that. Haven't played it in a number of years. But I'm holding on to it thinking that maybe my daughter might like to play it someday. What do you think? All right, that was my show and tell moment. Oh, let's keep going with our comments here. Diana says, I miss the old Nate, and I'm disappointed that he's gone. He was a natural actor. I'll definitely miss him, and I mentioned it once before, but I would have loved to have seen him get together with Victoria. They would have made a compelling couple. It was only wishful thinking. I know. Victoria and Nate were chemistry tested for about a minute, and then the writers just went, nope. I think that every writer is always trying to bring Victoria out of her shell, and they were testing Nate in doing that, like teaching her Taekwondo, and it's like that's the dynamic that seems to work with Victoria. She is a very staunch, very serious person, and the man in her life pulls her right on out of that, and Billy is just not being that right now. But yeah, I wish they would have pursued Victoria and Nate too. Well, we saw new Nate this week. I mean, I can't be mad at him. The actor hasn't done anything wrong or bad. I mean, all my negative feelings are about missing the old actor, but, fine. I'll admit the new Nate is fine. He's very good looking, and I'm sure maybe he'll grow on us. I want to give everybody a chance, and then I'll get mad when they make me mad. But so far he's fine. I just miss the old guy. Oh, let's switch over to talking about Ray and Mia. Laura says Ray should turn in Mia and get her charged for attempted murder of Lola, plus conspiring to murder Abby, and then sue Mia for full custody of the baby. That's what I'd do. I'd keep that baby for myself. And T. Nicole says, I always found it odd that Ray wouldn't turn Mia in. He's choosing his cheating wife over justice and answers for his sister. I'm sure the prison would have accommodations if a prisoner's pregnant and the baby would then go into the care of the father. With Ray on the police force, couldn't this be information that it would be easier for him to find out? This is a good point, T. Nicole, because it did seem like he was choosing his cheating wife over his sister in a way. Yeah, I guess in his mind he was choosing the baby, but as you mentioned, there would be some kind of process, I would imagine, for getting the baby to him afterward. I mean, for crying out loud, she'd be on trial for most of the pregnancy. Well, Sandra says, I read recently where Mia will be on air for another month. That's a lot of havoc to be wreaked until then. Yeah, I don't know exactly what her end date is, and maybe it'll be, a month down the road. I just think we're going to see a miscarriage, and I think we're going to see Ray torn down with her, but that's just my speculation. Ellen says, I think I'm in the minority, but I'm okay with Mia leaving. I have a hard time with hugely selfish characters. I can't connect. She only cares about herself. My hope is that my two favorite Rosales clan members stay, though. I like Lola with Kyle. The Abbotts benefit from her youthful energy, and I want them at the new restaurant mixing with Devon, Anna, Abby, Lola, Tessa, Mariah. And I want a Ray, Sharon, Adam triangle. That would be fantastic for me. I don't ask for much, right? I feel like of all the Rosales, I wanted Mia. Mia was the one I was hoping most that they would not cut. I could get rid of all of the rest of them and I would still want Mia. She was my number one. Ray would be my number two. And a Ray, Sharon, Adam triangle? Oh, that would be, Sharon would be dominating all of the new men. She'd be getting them all. Yeah, I wonder what's going to be up with Adam coming back. Zuberplex says, now that Adam's returning, what are they going to do with the fact that Kevin's common-law wife is still running away from the law while everyone is under the mistaken belief that she's dead? How is Victor going to reconcile the fact that his son Adam is alive while knowing simultaneously that he allowed his attempted murderer to escape scot-free? So yes. So Adam's presumed dead, and so is Chloe. I don't know how they're going to resolve that, but I like Leslie's comment here saying, I am still hoping that the new Adam is the real Adam, and that Justin Hartley's Adam was an imposter. Maybe he is really Gabriel, who had amnesia, and Sage convinced him that he's Adam. Then Chloe's off the hook for killing him and is not charged with anything due to insanity. It also makes Christian's dad dead, and Nicholas keeps him. I do want the drama of Adam taking Christian from Nick, though. Oh, I forgot about that. So if Adam's alive, then yeah, that's going to be an issue for Nick and Christian. We haven't really even seen Christian or any mention of Christian on the show, but yeah, I guess I didn't fully think about that. Oh, that is going to be sticky. Is that why they're showing Nick with nothing better to do? Is he getting ready to butt heads with Adam over Christian? Is there going to be a custody storyline? That's a little blah, though. I mean, I like the idea of Adam and Nick in conflict, but oh boy, that custody is going to be an issue. Oh, let's see. Well, let's see. Sandra says, at this rate, I hope they hold off Kevin's return for a few months and let us catch our breath here. With the recent death of Christophe St. John, the announcements of Arturo, Phyllis, and now Mia leaving the show, and with the impending comeback of Adam, it feels like an awful lot to take in. I understand that the writers had to do what they had to do. This feels like more of a shakeup than when Mal Young first took over. I agree, Sandra. It is a little much, I have to admit. I just feel exhausted by the show this week. It's just, and all the news and everything. It's just, you know, I like the drama. I love Y&R, but I was kind of hoping that we'd be seeing something, I don't know, maybe a smoother transition and maybe a little fun, maybe a little new. And so far, I'm feeling jarred. And I just feel like I've got a little bit of whiplash and for the things that are to come, and the stories that are on the screen in the forefront right now just seem like returns to old stories. Everything they did with Billy and Victoria this week was just a repeat. And I find that annoying. Gary says, I've never seen so many characters not flounder with a new I've never seen so many characters not flounder with a new administration. It's not necessarily a compliment. I can't remember Mal's news stories at the time of his takeover, but I recall observing how the characters would not be doing what he had them doing. I suppose that's a common reaction to have, but that time pales to the 90-degree turns that are happening now. See, that's how I feel too. It's like every single character on the show, I'm watching what they're doing and I'm thinking, this doesn't seem consistent. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't, it's just not right for who they are and where they've been. And it just, yeah, I feel yuck right now. So I have to admit, I was kind of happy to see these comments from Sandra and Gary where I'm at least able to identify with your perspective, because I'm not feeling it right now. This is not a great first impression, Josh Griffith. But the story that really ticks me off is Kyle and Lola and Summer. I don't know why, but it's so front burner, and it's just taken someone who I liked very much in Kyle and turned him into someone who I don't like at all. I'm not a prude. It's not that there's cheating going on or something that's bothering me. It's that all of a sudden it doesn't make any sense. And Summer's acting like a meek little victim, and Lola is throwing all of her morals out the window, and Kyle, he's not the strong, assertive guy that came into town. He's just a waffler. And in the lovemaking scene with Summer that was happening the day after the lovemaking scene with Lola, I'm looking at the actor and I'm thinking, he's got to be wishing that this wasn't happening. He has got to know that this is not going to, it cannot be going over real well with female viewers. No woman really wants to see a guy bouncing back and forth, like getting ready to sleep with two women, even if he didn't actually sleep with either of them. That's just not appealing. It's not attractive. It cannot be getting Kyle a bunch of new fans. Or if it is, tell me. Tell me if you're a fan of Kyle. Present me with something. Give me something to not be mad at him, because I don't want to be. I don't want to feel this way, but he's not acting right. It's not right. Jamie says, what if hot rock star Brandon moved to Genoa City as the new musical heartthrob and he hooks up with Summer? Fine. I like that idea, Jamie. I'd like to. I just want to see both of these girls just dump Kyle's ass. And fine, let's let Brando be the hot rock star who's rocking some ladies' worlds. That's fine with me. See, Connor feels the way I feel here, saying the Kyle Lola Summer triangle is exhausting. Get it over already. Summer's heart is beating, but not for the reason she thinks it is. Lola deserves better, and the more Kyle keeps this facade up, no one will come out happy. Oh, I so agree, Connor. I like this line. Summer's heart is beating, but not for the reason she thinks it is. Oh, I know. And when Kyle said, Summer keeps looking at me like I'm the answer, and I don't know how to tell her that I can't be. Just tell her that you can't be. That's all you need to say. You have got to be mature, surely enough, to know that saying nothing is the wrong thing, and that saying nothing is only making it worse. Ugh. Consuela says, Allie, I know you don't like Kyle right now, but I still love him. And I don't feel sorry for Summer, because she's always been manipulative, and her character just rubs me the wrong way. I don't really feel sorry for Summer either, to be honest with you, Consuela. I think that Summer knew what she was getting into, and the fact that she knew that Kyle was with Lola just shows that she knew what she was getting herself into. She was marrying a man who she knew was in love with someone else. And she's just being so sappy and self-delusional, thinking that that's gonna change if she is nice enough and good enough, and if she can make herself be like Lola enough, then maybe Kyle will just forget Lola and want her instead. And it is pathetic. It really is. Give me a reason to like Kyle right now. Tell me why. I just feel like he's just waffling. Ellen says, so now Summer is a delicate flower who's always been in love with Kyle? Huh? That is completely inconsistent with Summer's backstory. She dumped Kyle and never looked back. Not too long ago, she relentlessly pursued the man her mother was living with and then slept with him. This poor little innocent Summer routine is ridiculous. I agree. And you know what, Ellen? I liked the man-eater Summer, and watching her become poor little delicate flower is just, it feels like bad, weird writing, doesn't it? I'm chalking this up to the writing, because it just doesn't feel consistent with the characters, and it's just so far different from what we were just viewing. Diana says, does it bother anyone else that Lola was not willing to sleep with Kyle when he was single, but only became interested in losing her virginity to Kyle after he became a married man and not available anymore? I thought she was supposed to have these strong morals and values. She dumped Kyle for buying her an expensive purse because she felt so strongly about the principle of it. No, you are not the only one, Diana. That's exactly how I feel too. Well, let's switch gears, because I could just be mad about this all day. Superplex says, why did Jack not go after his sister Ashley for planting that listening device? What he decided to do instead was fork over $4 million to stop her from pursuing My Beauty Collective, and he's pleased with himself? Why? It seems to me that the winner in all of this is Ashley. Ellen says, what planet does Tracy live on? Planet Lollipop, full of rainbows and kittens and happily ever after? She has not been paying attention. Jabot does need non-family board members. Maybe this company could be restructured into 2 exactly equal divisions by the outsiders. One for Jack, one for Ashley. They are both too childish to work together constructively. The Abbotts are all a hot mess. Too bad the era of Phyllis, Lauren, and Carrie was so short-lived and never given a real chance. Could have been fun to see them thrive and watch Jack and Kyle sulk. Gary says, well, there we have it in the previews for next week. Dina, sober and sound as a judge. Yes, that is funny. You're reacting to our preview of Dina looking at Jack deadpan and telling him that he's ruining his father's company. Yep. Sober and sound as a judge. I agree. I wonder if that was the reason why Y&R made sure to have Jack say that he was sending Ashley that money from his personal funds. So he's not exactly using Jabot funds to pay off Ashley. I mean, $4 million just so that you can be right, so that you can not have to admit that Ashley bested you on that. Ugh, yuck. I would say Dina is right. He is ruining it. He's screwing it up already. And can I just also say, I also don't like that right now Jack and Phyllis are mortal enemies. When did they become mortal enemies? Jack was just so callous to her, and she was so vicious toward him. I am not feeling this direction right now. I hope next week is better. Please let next week be better. Daisy says it looks like Phyllis has lost everything. She can't catch a break. So maybe she'll leave town and come back a new woman. Welcome back, Michelle. I'm gonna miss Gina. Though she's good as Phyllis. I would love it if Gina returned playing someone else, a completely different character. Dare to dream. I know, right? I would love that too. If Y&R just said, fine, we'll have Michelle Stafford and we'll just bring Gina back as somebody else, but you know they won't. Let's talk about Michelle versus Gina. Laura says, I remember Michelle Stafford's first storylines. I watched her character unfold and then develop. She was Phyllis to me. And then came Gina Tognoni. My conclusion is, even if I was the one to originate Phyllis and did it for 16 years, I would feel so freaking insecure if I had to follow in Gina Tognoni's footsteps. If I were Michelle Stafford, I would not be resting easy. I bet Michelle is resting easy. Michelle does not strike me as somebody who has a confidence problem. I bet she's real happy with herself right now, and I bet she's gonna come back into that role and tear it up. I just hope it's not like so big that it's overwhelming. Pressed, the name just Pressed, says Gina is the winner by a mile for me. I can't tell you how many bad episodes I've gotten through specifically because of Gina's constantly wonderful performance. She's not only incredibly talented and gorgeous, but she is amazingly charismatic. She manages to carry every scene she's in without taking away from any other actor. She's a true leader and was the best all-around actor on the show, in my opinion. This has to be the most baffling casting decision I've seen in daytime. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I think that this casting decision it started me off on a bad note for the week. Because just hearing about them getting rid of Gina and then just watching her kill it all week long, I think it just set a yucky tone for me for the rest of the show, and now everything that these new executives are doing with the show, I think they're under my microscope, and now I'm feeling myself shutting down a little bit toward it. I need to pull it back and be more positive, but I feel the way Pressed does. Gina was just so amazing and she brought so much to the show, and I just I'm rebelling against the change, I think. I did this when Mal Young took over though too. If I were to go back and find the Y&R Chat for the first couple weeks of Mal Young, I know that I was complaining. Marianne says says, in 2013, Josh Griffith, or Griffin, I can't ever get it right, was the one who wrote Michelle Stafford's Phyllis into a coma. So the writer we have now is the one who put Michelle Stafford's Phyllis into a coma. And then in 2014, Gina Tognoni's Phyllis came out of the coma on Y&R, and Michelle's Nina came out of a coma on General Hospital. Now, Josh is the writer in 2019 on Y&R. On General Hospital, Michelle's Nina spends most of the recent episodes at odds with Lulu, who is played by the actress who played Abby on Y&R. I really don't think a recast is necessary for Nina, but that's just my opinion. I felt that Michelle could do better than Nina, and Gina would definitely deserve more than to become a Nina recast. Well, I did read that they did recast Michelle Stafford's role on General Hospital. It's going to be Cynthia Watros, who played the original Kelly on Y&R, who I really liked. I liked her a lot. In fact, I liked her more than Katie McLean, who played the role after she left. Just looks-wise, it seems like that she and Michelle look sort of similar, and I could see Cynthia Watros having kind of a Michelle Stafford vibe if she was given the chance. So I think that would be considered good news for General Hospital fans. I also I didn't know this, that the actress who played Abby on Y&R, I'm assuming you're talking about Marcy Rylan, is at odds with Nina on General Hospital. That's interesting, because I never got over Marcy Rylan. I really liked her as Abby. It's funny how we get really married almost to the versions of a character that we want, and sometimes it's hard to get out of that when things change. And I never want to be one of those fans. That's kind of one of the reasons I started Y&R Chat, because I like to consider myself someone who could just go with the flow of the show. And I will. It's just that right now it feels so jarring. It just feels almost like too much, because I never want to be so stuck in my old ways that I'm not able to accept that the story must continue to move, that the characters must continue to move. That's the essence of a running show like this. You can't stay in one spot. You have to keep the story and the characters moving. So I don't want to get too stuck. So I'll get over it, but I'm going to be grumpy this week. Following up on last week in our little Scientology discussion about Michelle Stafford and General Hospital, Keisha says, I watched General Hospital, and right now the show is doing a Scientology storyline. A majority of the characters are against this cult, and they're trying to bring them down. Michelle Stafford is a Scientologist, and I'm hearing she was against the storyline from the beginning. It would explain why Michelle wanted out, but this sucks for Gina. Yes, it sure does. That's what I was hearing. Astra also left a message saying that it is right. They're doing a very similar to Scientology story on General Hospital. That you could see how that would make Michelle Stafford uncomfortable. I just wonder who initiated getting Gina out and Michelle back in. Consuela says, I am for Michelle Stafford all the way. I loved the crazy, kooky Phyllis. I guess maybe part of my thing too is that I didn't. I think I just didn't love the crazy, kooky Phyllis. I remember Phyllis 1.0 when she first came on the show. I was so irritated with her all the time. I really wanted to fast forward those scenes. And it was not really until Gina took that role that I felt like it was more relatable, that I felt like Phyllis was actually relatable. But who knows, maybe Michelle has had some coaching. Maybe she's going to be partnered with a writer who really understands her strengths, and will be able to give me something a little, maybe in between, maybe somewhere in between crazy kooky Phyllis and classy Phyllis. Shakona says, I love watching them both equally. Both of them bring something different to the role and do it with such finesse. I voted for Michelle, but only because she's the original. But I truly love how they play the role equally. By the way, my mom met Michelle Stafford in Aruba. She was nice enough to take a picture with her at the hotel pool. Oh, that is nice. I've been to Aruba. I didn't meet Michelle Stafford though. I would not have the nerve. I would not have the nerve to approach Michelle Stafford. No way. She could be at the gas station right up the road from me, and I wouldn't do it. She could be knocking on my front door, and I would peek through the window or through the peephole and see that it was her, and I would run in the other direction. There's no way. I find her very intimidating. She probably is absolutely lovely, but there's just, her presence is so big, I don't think I could handle it. I just find her intimidating. Well, let's wrap up with a little bit of a rant and a grump from Laura. Laura was a little bit grumpy about a few things this week, just like I was. So I'm going to read this comment from her. Laura says, please, no more addiction storylines unless it's less than 1 week and it leads to a major plot twist. Please, no more injuries and boring scenes in the hospital room. Please, no more replacing our favorite actors. Please, no more songs. It gets in the way of the storytelling. If I want to hear a song, I'll listen to the radio. And please, more humor. For a while there, I was laughing at subtle jokes. Now I'm just laughing at the ridiculousness of it all. Ah, Laura, I so agree. Oh, you said it. I mean, we've got to get over this transition hump and get over these casting changes, and then we're gonna have to grieve for Neil, and then we just need to move forward into a fabulous new era of Y&R, please. Okay, everybody, well, I'll take my grumpy bare butt and I'll go do something. I'll have like a chamomile tea or something to like calm myself. Next week is a whole new week though. Maybe it'll be even better. If you want to go to yrchat.com, I do check in there every day, and I leave comments, respond to comments here and there, and it's nice to hear what people are saying throughout the week so that I know that if I'm grumpy about something and then I see other comments about other people being grumpy, then it feels a little more okay. So I have appreciated that this week. yrchat.com. Good place for a good conversation in between Sundays. Well, for now, I suppose I could play you out a tune on my guitar to say goodbye for the week, but it's dusty, and I haven't played it in so long. The thing about playing guitar, though, is you got to develop calluses on your fingers, and I was never able to really develop good calluses on my fingers, and so it hurt my hands to play, and at this point now I'm like getting early arthritis and stuff. I couldn't possibly, I don't think I could play it if my life depended on it, but it looks real pretty, and I'm gonna hope that maybe my daughter wants to be a rockin' guitarist someday, a little rocker guitar girl someday. Well, okay, I'm gonna get going. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.